It's indeed my honor and privilege to be speaking at this event for Code Gladiators 2022. When we look at the journey of digital India and when we look at the digital transformation that has happened in our country in the last few years, the sheer numbers that we see are mind-boggling. 1.3 billion Aadhaar numbers given. If we look at the digital payment transactions, we have almost 6 billion transactions happening every month. Almost 40% of the entire digital payment transactions globally happens in India. We have been seeing the adoption of digital technologies in almost every sphere of life. During the pandemic, we saw this transformation get further accelerated when within no time we found children adopting to online education, people adopting to remote healthcare, farmers getting advisories on their phone through e-NAM systems and the Kisan Call Share systems. We also saw how more than 5 lakh learning sessions have happened on Diksha platform. So what has led to all this digital transformation? If we look at the basic building blocks, whether it's the Aadhaar project or the UPI project or the DigiLocker project, what are they doing? The Aadhaar project, after its conceptualization, what has it done is that it has given an identity to every citizen of India. It's become the basic foundation on top of which other services are delivered. If you look at the UPI, it allows for simple, easy exchange of small ticket transactions also without any user cost. No other country has a similar system in their place. For even advanced countries in US and Europe, for doing financial transactions, it's quite complicated. There's a lot of time which it takes. In India, even the poor people, even the people living in rural areas, street vendors, they all have adopted digital payments because of the ease and simplicity which it offers. If you look at the digital DigiLocker project, it's built a document wallet which allows all of us to store our information, all our documents, whether it's a PAN card or the Aadhaar card or the academic credentials or a health records or an insurance document, driving license. All such documents are digitally available on our mobile phone. It can be verified electronically. So we don't need to carry any paper documents. We don't need to prove the validity of a document by getting it attested or getting it notarized. It has resulted in a lot of convenience to citizens. If you look at all these 3 basic building blocks of the Digital India platform, they are enabling a faceless system through the Aadhaar, a cashless system through the UPI, and a paperless system through the DigiLocker project. And on top of that, using these basic building blocks and using the e-sign and e-consent layer, other departments, whether it's agriculture or whether it's healthcare, they are building public digital platforms on top of it, which is going to transform the way services are delivered in these sectors. We are also seeing that the Indian talent, the Indian coders, the Indian software professionals are the ones who are driving this adoption of the digital technologies. Almost all these projects have been built in-house, built with Indian companies, built with Indian startups, built with Indian entrepreneurs, and they are changing the way the world looks at India. India has traditionally been software service provider for the whole world, but when it comes to public digital products, when it comes to building tech solutions for solving societal problems at population scale, no other country matches India. When the COVID-19 pandemic also brought us into a scenario wherein we could build a vaccination platform in almost no time, which has enabled giving more than 200 crore doses to Indians across the country. It facilitated booking of vaccination appointments, it facilitated downloading of vaccination certificates, it facilitated verification of vaccination appointments. During COVID-19 also, Arogya Setu app, which was developed in a flat 15 days, that also showed the prowess that Indian entrepreneurs, Indian techies, Indian government has. That was also built during lockdown and launched, which really helped us in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic. We also saw how the MyGov help desk was built in on WhatsApp, a chatbot, which has got more than 90 million, 9 crore users. And this is the world's largest such chatbot, which allows access to COVID-19 related information. It allows services with regard to vaccination appointment booking, downloading of certificates. And now it's also offering all services of DigiLocker on a simple WhatsApp interface, wherein you can go there, send a hi or a namaste, and download all your documents, whether like the driving license or the PAN card or the Aadhaar card, all your documents which are there on the Aadhaar card are also accessible there. We have been building all these tech services, and India has become a huge consumer of e-services when it comes to building for accessing public services. But when we do that, another challenge that we face is that how do you handle issues of digital inclusion? How do you ensure that every person in India across the length and breadth of the country can access these services? We have challenges of connectivity. We have challenges of people not having access to a device. We have challenges of people not having the skill sets to access to download an app or to access e-services. To mitigate this problem, to mitigate this challenge, what we did right from the beginning was that the concept of assisted access was built in, which allowed people to go to a common service center and get services by paying a service fee. We have a network of 500,000 common service centers across India, and these centers offer all kinds of services, public services, business services to people. This is really ensured inclusion. In the next step, what is being done is that services are also being enabled in all Indian languages, so that language doesn't become a obstacle or a barrier for accessing e-services. Then it was also felt that there are more than 500 million Indians who would require a voice interface for accessing services, because they would not be comfortable writing a URL on a portal or putting credentials on a mobile app. They would want to talk to a mobile phone just like we talk to an Alexa and a Siri's. So towards this objective, voice-enabled services are being built on the Umang platform, which should go live very soon. And the same interface will also enable people with feature phones to call up a toll-free number and access services which they want. So if you want to get details with regard to status of your ration card or a driving license or a passport, you can either speak to your smartphone, hey Umang, what's the status of my driving license? Or you can call up a toll-free number on a feature phone or a landline phone, identify yourselves with your credentials, and then get access to any service that is required. This would also require a lot of digital literacy to be built in. So when we want people to be aware, when we want people to access e-services, skilling becomes a very important program. So for that, the government had launched the Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Saksharta program, PMG Disha that we call, which has training 6 crore people, 60 million people in digital literacy, in basic digital literacy. Then there was another objective, that how do we reskill and upskill? Because the way emerging technologies are coming up, the way AI is coming up, blockchain is coming up, there's always a need to reskill and upskill our techies, our graduates, our people who are in the job market, people who are seeking jobs. So for this objective, MeitY along with NASSCOM had built in a platform called Future Prime Skills, which offers online courses on all the emerging technologies, whether it's IoT, whether it's AR, VR, blockchain, metaverse, artificial intelligence, data science, data analytics. All these courses are available on Future Prime Skills, which can be accessed by any individual by going on the platform, registering there, doing these courses, and acquiring these skills. So skilling and building capacities becomes a very important part in this whole Digital India program. Then when we work on all these things, and when we look into the strength that India has, especially in the field of artificial intelligence, in the field of building tech solutions, today India is regarded as the world startup capital. The number of startups which are being incubated in India every day, and the number of startups which are turning unicorns by getting investments from everyone across the world, is made India the most sought after destination for building solutions. We have had almost 105 unicorns in the last few years, and more companies are building solutions, and more companies who are trying, more and more venture capitalists and angel investors who are wanting to find the next big thing in the tech world, they are looking to India for finding such companies. Then when we come to trained manpower, skilled manpower, who can build solutions in the technology space, who can build solutions for artificial intelligence, there is no other country but India. India is ranked very highly. I think we are the number 2 ranked when it comes to providing trained and skilled manpower for building technological solutions and AI-based solutions. So that this strength of Indian startup ecosystem and the strength and the capabilities of India's trained manpower, along with the public digital platforms that India has built, whether with the Aadhaar, with the UPI, with the DigiLocker, with the e-sign framework, with the vaccination platform, with the Ayushman Bharat Health Mission, with the initiatives which have been done for education, for agriculture. This makes India a very hot space, a very vibrant space for building digital technologies. The investments India is looking at and getting at for electronics manufacturing, India has already become the second largest manufacturer of mobile phones, and with the PLI scheme and the Indian semiconductor mission coming in, India is now also being seen as a very important destination for electronics manufacturing, and countries which are looking at diversifying and reducing the dependence on only China, they're also looking at India as setting up their manufacturing bases. So this will result in a huge expansion of our manufacturing capacities. We have always been a leader in the IT-enabled services and the BPO sector. So when we combine all these things, our strength as a software service provider, our emerging strength as an electronics manufacturing hub, our strength for building solutions in emerging technologies, AI, blockchain space, together we have all the wherewithal which requires India to become a trillion dollar digital economy. And this, with the efforts of all our entrepreneurs, our startups, and our academicians, the researchers, we are poised to make this India's decade, as our Honorable Prime Minister says. So I would conclude by saying that we have in it within us, and the next few years, this decade will be India's decade. We all have to join hands. Government has to join hands with industry, startups, entrepreneurs, academia, and together we'll make this happen. I also thank the organizers and convey my best wishes to all the coders who are looking forward for the announcements or results which are expected in some time. So wish you all the best, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to be able to share some of my thoughts with you.